Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel if you're one of my subscribers, and if you're new here, I'm Lindz. I make videos on health and beauty content, and today's video is going to be health, and it's going to be to do with sort of some bits and pieces that help me going through chemotherapy. And I also have some more information for you from other people that I went through my journey with and that I've stayed very good friends with since, and some new people that have reached out to me with some questions and things like that on having chemotherapy, going through it. So this video is going to be more to do with sort of diet, issues that arise when you're having chemotherapy and bits and pieces like that. So if you're used to one of my maybe other beauty videos, maybe this video is not for you, so click out and go and watch something else. We have I have everything in a playlist, so all my health videos are going to be on a separate playlist for this one. Now my lovelies, depending on where you are in your journey with chemotherapy, or maybe you're watching this because you have a friend or relative or something along them lines that is going through, I just would like to speak more so a little bit on, as I said, I've got notes here, so please excuse me for keep looking down. I'm trying not to miss out anybody's questions. So I've got basically diet, skin, hair, fluids, and some supplements and bits and pieces like that, and some tips to help me with sickness. So let's get started. We all know if we're about to go through chemotherapy, or if you're helping someone going through it, that it's not a very pleasant thing to have to go through. But you know, it's going to help hopefully in the long run with whatever aspect of cancer you're dealing with. My cancer was bowel cancer. I have other videos in the playlist there if you'd like to know more about that. So when you're having chemotherapy, diet changes a lot. And it might not be anything to do with, you know, what you want your diet to change for. But things might not just sit very well with you with tummy complaints and sickness and things like that. So my advice here, make sure you're taking your anti-sickness tablets. You will get given them. They do help a lot. Now, even if you're against things like tablets, please take them. Keep everything small little portions, and nothing overly heavy. So try and stay away maybe from highly spiced type foods. Only have, if you're a meat eater, only have meats in very small portions, because things can be quite hard to digest when nothing's working very well when you're having your treatments. Now, I'm by no means a medical professional. I'm just somebody that's been through this and have been on a journey since, with a few other people, very close friends now, that have also gone through a lot. So one of the questions I got asked was there anything in particular to maybe avoid eating when you're having chemotherapy? For me, this one's a big one, and for a few of my friends, dairy. Dairy seems to be a no-go. Whether you're in the middle of chemotherapy or whether you're finished chemo. I don't really know what happens to your stomach and your bowels and things like that. This seems to be going for all types of chemotherapy as well. But for some reason, dairy just doesn't even agree with me now, and I'm 4 years past chemo, 5 years past diagnosis. So we also have, if you can, and you like your vegetables and your fruits and things like that, get them in. Whether you have to blend them up into sort of like a smoothie type thing, very, very important to keep vitamins, minerals, things like that up, I think. Again, healthy. You know, you might get told not to eat this, not to eat that, and things like that. Appetite can be a big thing when you're having chemotherapy. So my advice there is, eat what you want to eat. Okay, don't necessarily go by rules and regulations. To be honest, your body's gone through that much at the moment. Do you really care whether something's got 10 million calories in it or it's got 5? No, you've got bigger problems at the moment, guys, and you know, stuff like that's not one of them. Just to think, I used to be an avid coffee drinker, and I mean I was a big coffee drinker. I can't stand coffee anymore. The smell of it alone, maybe it triggers something in my brain that just goes, oh no, I can't. No, the smell just still makes me feel sick, which was something which was weird for me because, you know, coffee was my kind of go-to in a way. I try and stay now with decaf, if I can, decaf tea. A very good one for that actually, and the best one I found so far is Aldi's Own decaf tea. As I said, I can't advise on coffee because I don't drink it. Other fluids, very important to keep your fluids up, very. Herbal teas, things like that if you can stomach them. Peppermint's a very good one I found for sort of like acid reflux and things, because that was something I suffered with, the thing, and I quite like peppermint tea now. I don't think I'd ever drank a cup of peppermint tea in my life, or herbal tea of any description. Why they call it tea I don't know, because it's not tea, is it? It's just fruit flavours you put water in, but hey, you know. Ginger is very good for sickness. Now, crystallised ginger you can get in like the baking section and things like that of any of your local supermarkets if they're a good enough one, and it's just, it's nice and it can help with sickness. It doesn't help everybody, but it might help you, and I know a few people it has. Things like a ginger flavoured hot drink tea, I suppose it's called, can help wonders too. So if you can stomach things like that, again, your nose is going to know whether you can eat something or not, you know. Again, fluids, like they might tell you to have a slice of lemon in your water, drink a lot of water. To be quite honest, there's no scientific evidence that I found that lemon in water works, but it just takes that bland taste off, things like that. Now, where are we going here? Your skin. Your skin's going to change. Any of the products I used for years, I couldn't use anymore. Everything seemed to bring me out in sort of like a goose pimply type rash, or all my sort of makeup products and things like that. Anything I'd used for my face, I couldn't use anymore. I still can't with some of them. And as I said, I'm a good bit on with my journey now. So my advice on this one is to go for pH neutral type moisturisers, things like that. There is a cream, like a good moisturising cream. It's called Aqueous cream. I think that's, it's like based on an E45 type cream, but it's a lot cheaper. Very good, hands, face, whole body, slather it in. Makeup, if you're a lady, or anybody that likes wearing makeup, mineral based I found is quite good, and I still quite like my mineral based products. So I've recently just started using Bare Minerals, which I wish I'd known about when I was having my treatment, because like the foundation and things I was using at the time was a no-go for me. My skin looked great. My face skin, I'd never had one pimple or one spot the whole time I was going through my chemotherapy journey. Now, if you're on a high base of steroids with your chemotherapy treatment, you're normally going to put on a bit of weight, and this is purely fluid. This is nothing that's going to last, but it can happen quite dramatically. So my advice there is, make sure you've got someone that's going to be a few sizes bigger in clothing than you are, or charity shops and things like that. If money's tight, nobody's judging you, and if they are, get rid of them. They're not worth it. This is all about you being positive and you feeling your best. Whatever way you can do that, do that. Somebody asked me about supplements. Now, to be honest, a lot of your nurses and your oncologists and stuff are going to say, like, don't bother with anything like that. But to be honest with me, they helped. You know, just taking something that I thought was helping my body when it was being pumped full of jungle juice, which is what I call chemotherapy. You know, if you think mentally that supplements are going to help you, take your supplements. they're not going to affect anything that's going into your body. Well, I don't believe anyway, but as I said, I'm not medically qualified. So a good probiotic to help with everything that's going on in your bowel, sort of stomach area, because chemotherapy kills everything in your body, basically. It doesn't just kill what it's designed there to kill, it strips the whole lot. So a good probiotic, I'm not going to mention any brands or names or anything like that. If you go into one of your local pharmacies or health food shops, they'll be able to help you. And if you get a good enough one, they're going to be able to work with something that's on your budget. You know, having cancer can be quite expensive when it comes to all these bits and pieces. So, you know, cheap is not necessarily bad for any of these things. A multivitamin, again, you know, most of us take a multivitamin anyway every day. Centrum, I think, is absolute rubbish. I do not recommend Centrum to anybody. There's been studies and stuff done on that. You can have a look on Google and things like that for that to say Centrum is not worth the packaging price. Again, I will recommend one on this Boot Zone for supplements and things like that. That's as far as I'm going to go for recommending. Sorry if there's anyone from Centrum watching, but it's just the experience I had with them. A good calcium and vitamin D supplement. If you can stomach taking any of these things, you know, you might be too ill to be bothering with any of this. And if you are, that's fine. Everybody's individual. It's up to you what you take or what you don't take. Do you know, that kind of way? But I do recommend a good calcium and vitamin D supplement, and you have to take them together because calcium needs vitamin D to work in your body. Your teeth, your skeletal system, everything like that can be extremely affected by chemotherapy drugs. Unfortunately, it's one of them things. I'm having a lot of a lot of health issues now regarding things like my teeth and bone and things like that, problems that I can't 100% link to, you know, the chemotherapy drugs I was given, but I can't put it down to anything else either. And just from a few people I have spoke to, like my dentist and things, said the type of chemotherapy I was having does destroy the teeth. And if it destroys the teeth, 9 times out of 10, it's going to destroy other bits and pieces. But I've other videos, or if I haven't got them up already, they are coming, on after effects of chemotherapy, long term. Cod liver oil. Now, I know for some people this is like, oh, that's what my granny had. I wouldn't advise taking it in like the liquid form because I can't do that. That would make me gag at the best of times. But for me now, even to this day, I will take my cod liver oil tablet. Then I will take my a supplement called Calci Chew, which is like they're not very pleasant. It's a chalky sort of tablet-y thing, but it's got its vitamin D and everything in, and I have to take 2 of them a day. I wish I'd been on them, you know, years ago, but unfortunately I wasn't. Oils help things like calcium and vitamin D. So in my mind, me taking my cod liver oil tablet first, leaving it 10 minutes or so for it to sort of like do its thing, then taking my calcium tablet kind of works in conjunction with each other. It probably doesn't, but that's just my thing. Or another one is hemp oil capsules. Maybe you can get CBD ones as well, if that would be any addition to, if you know anything about your CBD products. What else have I got now? Okay, I was very fortunate with the type of chemotherapy I had, that I didn't lose my hair. Now, the only thing I've got to go on for hair loss here, guys, is a couple of friends that did lose all their hair, and just little things that helped them when they did. To start off with, you know, if it is a thing where you're not going to lose your hair, or mine thinned out a lot, which was okay with me. You know, the biggest thing, especially with women, is losing their hair, and I'm so sorry guys, if that's what you've got to go through. But I'm hoping that these little hints and tips I have, they're not hints and tips. There's no such thing, I don't think, as hints and tips with chemotherapy. But as I said, I have a few friends of mine. One of them did try the cold cap therapy. And she was having chemotherapy at the same time as I was having mine. It was horrific for her. And to me, it wouldn't have been worth it if that had been me in this situation. And my hair is something that, you know, was very important to me. But I couldn't have put myself going through what this lady was putting herself through with the cold cap therapy. That actually didn't work for her anyway. You know, I'm not saying it's not going to work for everybody. There's a talk to it over properly with your oncologist and your team. You know, especially speak to the nurses you've got in your oncology unit, because sometimes they could be a little bit more help than your specialist, from my experience anyway. Now, if it is a case you're in a good situation where you've been told that, you know, your hair you might lose a bit, but you're not going to lose it all. Use very, very, very subtle, I can't stress this enough, shampoos and conditioners. Now, it was advised to me baby shampoo. Baby shampoo's not really, it wasn't any good for my hair. So I found another one, and I can't remember, I'm so sorry, at the time, which was basically more of a natural conditioner and a natural shampoo. So that's what I used for mine. For you people that are suffering or about to suffer maybe with hair loss, the overall conjunction, as I said, I can't speak about this from experience, but just from bits and pieces. And I've asked these people, would they come on maybe and speak, but they're a bit camera shy, so they're not going to do that. They said you can get some very good wigs, but you are better off paying just that little bit more to have your wig done, because sometimes the netting and things like that can be extremely sore. Apparently, I'm told, your scalp's going to be very sensitive. It's going to feel very tender and things like that. Maybe not tender, but sensitive to itching and things like that. Another one of my, she's become a really, really good friend to me now, recommends for me to tell you silk scarves. Okay, and don't be ashamed, she told me to tell you, and stay strong. It will start growing back when you're finished. So now, just on a general note, general rule of thumb, sleep, rest and relaxation. These things are going to be your absolute best friends for, you know, the thing. Now, I know this is going to be a lot easier said than done for some people. If you have kids, if you have family life, some people have to continue working, which is an absolute disgrace when you're going through something so, you know, something that is basically life or death near enough, without wanting to put anything, you know, bad on it. But unfortunately, that is the case. Make time. Ask for help. Don't ever be afraid to ask for help. I was very stubborn, and I tried to do a lot of stuff myself. I put a lot of mental pressure on myself as well, which didn't fare well for me in the end. I ended up very ill mentally afterwards. It is a long process that I'm still going through, and I will make a separate video on your mental health and cancer, do you know? Whether you're in the middle of going through it or whether you're on the other side. And sometimes when the treatments are all finished, that can be the time when everything hits you the hardest. And I know all about it. I'm fully there with you if that's where you're at. As I said, don't be afraid to ask for help. I'm very, very independent, stubborn woman. Still am to this day, and I will try my best to do things I shouldn't be doing. I've got a severe back condition at the moment, which I shouldn't be doing half the things I do, but I do. Yous all know. Yous are thinking maybe that you've put so much pressure and so much stress and relied on so many people, maybe through operations or tests and scans and constant hospital appointments so far, that you don't want to ask for help anymore. You're at the point where maybe you're thinking to yourself, in a way, people are thinking, I'm just feeling sorry for myself. No, they're not. if they truly are your friends and are supporting you, that is not the way anybody should be thinking about you going through this severe journey in your life, you know. I had another question. I'm trying to find it here on my wee sheet. Yes, teeth. Keep good dental hygiene throughout. If you get a chance, and I've mentioned this before in a previous video I done, if you get a chance before your journey with chemotherapy starts, make sure and have a cleaning, a checkup, and have any works done that you need doing before you start your chemotherapy. I can't stress this one enough, guys, for the sake of your teeth. I don't want anybody going through what I'm going through at the moment with mine. So going through, you're not going to feel like brushing your teeth, you're not going to feel like flossing and all that good thing. But please try and keep good oral hygiene. I think that's basically, yeah, there was a few other bits and pieces, questions in here, but they're not really for this video. They are cancer related, but not for this video this time. So if you are one of them ones that have asked me a question through Instagram, my Instagram page there is 100% Lindz, just 100% the word Lindz, rather than any symbols or anything like that. You can pop me a question over on that and I will do my best to answer it in one of my upcoming health videos. Now, I'm aware that I've been talking a long time and I do apologise for that. I've tried to get as much in here as I can possibly think of at the moment. I'm sure there's lots more, but wherever you are, guys, in your journey, or if you're supporting somebody else going through it, you know, try and stay positive. And that is my #1 piece of advice, is to try and stay positive. Eat what you want, when you want. Don't, you know, be governed by rules, regulations, diets, you know. Keep your strength up, so do what you can to do that. Also make time for your relaxation. If you can get out and about into some fresh air, do that. Make sure you're wearing your sunblock all the time if you're going out. Your skin's going to be very sensitive. Keep your feet warm. For some reason, in my feet and my hands, and it seems to get worse with the cold, so it could be a lot worse though. You know, a lot of things in life could be a lot worse, but they might not feel like it at the moment. But when you're on the other side and you're smiling through, you're going to be fine. So keep positive. Keep them smiles, guys. Seriously. Do whatever it takes to make you feel better in yourself. And if you need to tell people to bog off and leave you alone, tell them. I had to do it a few times. And I don't know whether I was very pleasant about it sometimes, because I was so tired and feeling so sick. But right, okay, I'm starting to waffle a bit now. So again, take care. Subscribe if you know this is the type of video you'd like to see. As I said, I also make a lot of beauty content videos, so we're not all health related here and sort of like dismal. That's not even a word, I don't think, but however. Look after each other, but more importantly, look after yourself. Bye for now.